hedge fund billionaire.
Yes.
It's an interesting character. Where do you start to build a character like that? Where do you start from?
Look, everyone is very excited that Bobby's a billionaire. Actually, that's the least relevant part of who he is. He's made a lot of money, and that's fine. There are lots of other people who made a lot of money. It means he can have toys, he can have a yacht, he can have a helicopter, he can have nice houses that cost $80 million to buy. But in terms of his day-to-day life, he's a guy who goes into the office and he has a family who he wants to take on nice vacations, and he worries about his children, and he just is playing the game at a very elevated level. That's the only difference. The numbers are bigger, the risks are greater, and the adrenaline is constant, excuse me, as a result. So, but in terms of him playing a hedge fund guy, it really is true what I said, that a lot of the hedge fund guys that I met, they don't like risk. They want to eliminate risk. So their research, their analysis is very thorough. So so they have a better chance of winning.
But do they have a certain kind of mannerism, a certain kind of language? For example, you wear a uniform, you are always in jeans and t-shirt, so I suppose that you met some of them and then you try to reproduce this kind of persona.
Yeah, it's different for each guy. I met some guys who wear, you know, $4,000 Tom Ford suits and have $800 haircuts, and then I met some guys who wore tracksuit bottoms, tracky bums, as we would say at home, and, you know, sweats and sneakers. It kind of depends. Different hedge funds operate differently, but I think they are more relaxed than conventional Wall Street, and they're not in Wall Street. That's the other thing to remember. They have set themselves up separately, either in Midtown New York or out in Greenwich, out in the suburbs, and they're a law unto themselves, really. So I think we just felt that it spoke to the confidence of a guy who owned billions and was making big decisions every day of his life, but actually just wanted to be in jeans and sneakers and and knitwear. You know, he doesn't need a suit as a status symbol, and when he needs a suit, he puts it on. So there's a handful of occasions where he wears a suit, and it should be for good reason.
From Wall Street of Oliver Stone to The Big Short, this amazing movie this year, the financial world has always been extremely fascinating to the audience. Why, and do you think he has the same fascination after all the terrible things that happened to Wall Street in the recent years?
Well, I think the reason this show is well timed is precisely because of that, because of the subprime mortgage crisis in 2007, 2008. The Big Short went specifically into that moment, and I think what Billions is dealing with is the years afterwards. Has anything changed? What's our attitude towards the super rich? What are they continuing to get away with? Do they get away with anything? Is it all legit? And what are the lawmakers doing about it? And you know, in New York, there is a tradition of dynamic, aggressive attorneys going after the financial sector, whether it was Elliot Spitzer or Preet Bharara now. And there are some big hedge fund characters household names that we know. So it's a good world to get into. It's a good world to get into. And, you know, as we were saying in there, we don't want it to be dry. We don't want it to be a documentary. We want it to be fun. And we want these larger-than-life characters to speak to us and to be enjoyable to watch.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.